Dave Bombado.
It's actually Dane. And sorry about that. So anyway, 2 years ago, I spent a semester abroad in Rome, and it was coming up to Halloween, and we were trying to decide, what are we going to do for Halloween? And they don't celebrate Halloween in Rome because they're Catholic, and they don't like that stuff. So we decided, we're going to celebrate anyways. We're going to be those obnoxious Americans running around Rome dressed up, drunk. It's going to be awesome. So, me and my friends, we go out and we find costumes, and I can't find one, and my costume gets picked for me, and I'm going to be Cupid for the year, because, that's what Cupid, I guess. So we go and we get ready, and we of course, getting ready, getting drunk, and, drinking as much wine as humanly possible. We leave. As we leave and we're going to the bar that we were planning to go to, that we run into 3 Italians. Caterina, Giacomo, and I shit you not, Walter. What's his name? They barely speak any English. We speak crap Italian, and we're standing there talking to them somehow, and it comes down to they invite us out to a party. And we're like, sweet. So we ditch our other friends. There's 4 of us. Me as Cupid, my friend dressed up as St. Peter's Basilica, the most Catholic place in the world. Another friend dressed up as Cinderella, and another one a beer maiden from Oktoberfest. So we are a motley crew at best. And we have to meet up with another friend of theirs before we get to the party. So we walk down the street, we get to this piazza, there's streets, a lot of people standing in the piazza, there's 2 streets coming, and in front of us, a church. And we're standing there talking, and their friend comes over, and their friend is dressed up as a priest. And I say dressed up because it's Halloween, and why would there be, a priest around? I'm assuming in my drunk brain that he's dressed up. And he only solidifies it further by doing magic tricks. So, I swear to you. And one of his magic tricks is he has a little ball and he puts it in his hand. He says, "These are your sins." They disappear. I'm like, that's genius. That's comedy right there. And I'm laughing hysterically. I think this is great. And then I realized that we've moved up to the stairs of the church. And all of a sudden, a few minutes go by, my friends disappear. And then I'm standing out there with Magician Priest, confused. And he's like, let's go into the church. I'm like, no, whoa, I'm not going into a church. I'm decent. I have no shirt on. I'm dressed up as Cupid. I'm drunk. This is not appropriate. And he's like, no, it's cool. Come on. And I'm like, no, I can't go in. So he gives me his jacket. So we're in the church, so we're inside the church, and I have his jacket on, and I'm cool with that. There's some people standing around, and there's a table to my right. And he says, oh, there's pieces of paper on the table. Go over and, you have to write something on it. He's speaking, very bad English, and I don't speak Italian, so I just walk over, and I would pay money to see what I wrote on this piece of paper, because I don't know what it is. And so there's some people around. He grabs and he puts his arm inside mine, and we're walking down the aisle of this church. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, how am I here? I'm kind of confused. I'm not really paying attention to where I am, what's going on. He's talking to me, and he's explaining the ins and outs of Catholicism as we're walking down. We get to the altar, and there's 2 people kneeling at the altar. I'm like, this is pretty serious. I'm not really sure I should be here. He pulls me down, and we're kneeling on the ground now. And he's talking, and he's praying, and he's telling me to pray, and he points to his basket, and I put the piece of paper in the basket, and I'm like kind of having a panic attack right now. Like, why am I at the altar of a church drunk? This is kind of ridiculous. So I kind of freak out, and I stand up, and I'm like, all right, I need to get out of here. And he's like, okay, go. Just he takes his jacket back. So now I have no jacket. I'm at the altar of the church dressed up as Cupid. I turn around, and I realize that I am in a congregation full of people, nuns, 3 rows of nuns, 4 rows of priests, candle-bearing, praying Italians, all looking at me. I'm at the altar of their church. No shirt and a toga. I have a heart crown on. I'm carrying a bow and arrow. I have a quill, and I am just like, this is happening. This is what's really happening right now. And I just walked down the aisle, and I realized there's nothing I could say to anybody in this church to prove that I'm not psychotic. And I get to the end of the church, and I run into Giacomo again, and who speaks the least English out of all these characters. And he looks at me, and I'm like, where are my friends? He guides me over to their friends. They're trying to convince people to go into confession and stuff. I'm like, this is insane. And I realized that this is a vigil mass for All Saints Day, which is the next day. And I'm like, oh, this is not good. And I turn to Giacomo, and I'm like, so Giacomo, is this the party? And he goes, yeah, this is the party. And so we left. That was the end of it. Thank you.